Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Got it filed down, both sides fairly smooth. Now I'm going to cut lengthways down the part. Before I do that, I'm going to put a mark on there with the scribe. And to make it so that the mark is visible, I'm using a magic marker instead of Dykem, because I don't use that much Dykem and I can't see having a can sitting around that I don't use. I use magic markers all the time. Put my pen back in the file card. Oh, before I do that, I want to clean the file. Never put away tools dirty. I'm going to put away the file card. I'll actually set it on the bench out of the way. Before I do that, I want to clean the file because you never want to set tools away dirty. Because next time you go to use them, you might not have time to clean them. Put this hacksaw back up on the rack. I need to make a new handle for that. No point having a hacksaw that I can't stand to use. The nice thing about a vernier is the scale is really tough to get out of calibration. And I want to have this at 1 inch 300. So all I need to do is set that there. Scribe the line. Now I have my marks made and I'm ready to saw off the rest of this part. I was taught there's a sequence to machining. You want to saw, and then cut with a milling cutter, and then grind. Followed by filing and then polishing. I don't have a full-fledged surface grinder, I have a Foley bell saw, which has a surface grinder-like attachment. But I don't think I need to be that precise for this little T-nut. And even though it's a lot of hacksawing, which I'm not really fond of, it's going fairly quickly. Gaining. One side cut. The other side cut halfway. This blade's starting to wear out. And I think it's getting hot too. When the blade gets hot, it grows and loosens up. Now, this is only supposed to be hand tight, but I cheated. I wanted to cut to the waist side of the line. Every saw has a kerf, and the kerf has a width. And the width on a saw blade can be anything. I mean, on some of the giant saws, it can be 1/4 inch or more. On this little saw, it's about 40 thousandths, about a millimeter. But 40 thousandths is a lot when you're trying to get a close fit. So I want to saw it to the waist side of the line, and then I can file down to the line and have the thing the right size. It's awful easy to take some off. Well, not with a hacksaw, but it's easier to take some off with a hacksaw than it is to put some back on. So I have the light on this side so I can see the line as I'm cutting. Now, I'm not doing a whole lot of steering on the blade. I'm more checking to make sure that I'm not pushing the blade off to the side. I have a tendency to want to crank this way because I'm right-handed. I suppose if I was left-handed, I'd be going the other direction. So I'm watching the line, making sure I'm staying on. Because I want to take off as much as I can with a hacksaw. No more than I need to. But the hacksaw is faster than the file, by a long shot. I start out taking short strokes, it's just easier. But I really want to use the full width of the, or full length of the blade. The two main reasons I want to use the full length of the blade is, if I just saw back here, I wear out that much of the blade and the whole blade is worthless. And I've paid a lot of money for a hacksaw blade and used a quarter of it and thrown the rest away. And then of course you can always stand up here and then do this, but that's awkward. I want to let the saw do the work. And if I use the whole saw blade, the blade heats up as it's cutting. Just like this little piece of steel. Every once in a while you see me pick it up with a rag. It's because it's plenty frickin' warm. I'm putting a lot of friction on there with this hacksaw. And if I use the whole blade, I have to heat up the whole blade, and it takes longer to heat up the whole blade than it does to heat up one little section. So rather than having one section of the blade heat up and warp, I'm letting the whole blade warm up evenly, and it just cuts better. And that's the whole goal of the thing, is to not have to do this longer than I want to. Because it really does go fairly quickly when you're doing it right. Whew. Well, now I'm getting tired and I'm trying to cheat. And that's always where you make a mistake, is when you get tired and you try and cheat. That's when you get yourself hurt and you screw up parts. And I've already spent all this time trying to make this thing. It'd be darn silly of me to wreck it right now. long, slow, tedious process. I'm fitting the T-nut to the slot in the compound, and I'm really close. I can almost slide it in. I just have a few spots that are tight, and I want to take off only the spots that are tight. I don't want to take off any material that I don't need to. So I've used a Sharpie to mark the sides of it so I can tell where it's rubbing. I got a little rub mark right here. Got a little bit of a line along the front edge here. This is almost 100% wipe, so that's telling me that I'm actually pretty square and straight there. So I'm just going to take the file and knock off. I'm going to knock off that edge, that spot right there, and that front edge. Slide the compound over where it belongs, set it at a 60-degree angle. Lock it down. Then for the first time, we'll take the proper nut and the proper stud. Put it down through. Tighten it into the T-nut just where it's supposed to be. Lock that down. There we go. 7/8 wrench. The new T-nut for the AXA is done now. Could have been done a lot faster, could have been done earlier, but it was fun doing it by hand. I know I hate hacksaws, but the idea was to see if I could, and obviously it worked quite well. Now all I have to do is set up and start working on the Swan drilling machine again. Still have a shaft to finish up, and I have to mount it and put the gear on it. A lot of work yet to go. If you guys have any suggestions for a new video or questions about today's video or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments below. You know, I read them all. Thanks for watching.